honor and glory to Yahweh. Ba'ashem Mashiach Malaki Yahushua. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers out there. You understand? Pushing the word, man, and sincerity of truth. Right in the highways and byways, making their body a living sacrifice. In the rain, the tumults, the demons, the uprises, the uproars, all hell breaking loose, you standing out there 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the men that are not out there as of yet, but building themselves up. Reading, praying, fasting, being diligent, steadfast, on fire, always abounding in the work. Another strong shalom to all of the women that are married, you understand? Reverencing their husbands, being teachers of good things to the children at home. Another strong shalom to the women that are not married as of yet, but building themselves up, you understand? Reading, praying, fasting, right? Being shamefaced, steadfast, on fire, right? And we living in the last days, man. If you didn't know, we living in the last days. Now it's time to be on fire. Now it's time to be reading more than ever, praying more than ever, fasting more than ever, doing the works of old, you understand? Because we trying to get the hell up out of here, man. Right? So this going to be a night of breakdowns. We in parables, we in prophecies, we in allegories, we in riddles, we in everything. Whatever the Lord have the saints to bring forth, Lord willing, I'll be able to answer. You understand? So we going to jump straight into this thing, right? Shalom to Israelite Princess B, Lee Israel, S.T. Smart, Tori N, Aaron Judah, you understand? Wesley 305, Margarita, Amaziah, Akwath Israel, right? Yasha Allah. Shalom to the saints, man. So this is going to be a night of parables, breakdowns, allegories, similitudes, and Lord willing, we're going to be able to answer everything and go into a lot of other breakdowns also for the saints, right? Let's jump straight into it. Lee Israel. Is it unlawful to have dreads, right? So a lot of people say it's unlawful, but I would have to ask them what scripture is that, right? I came into the truth personally on dreads, right? And the Lord has extended my knowledge, right, to a certain degree, having locks. Now, I didn't sit there, you know, I didn't damn make up some damn thing. I didn't find a secret precept. No, everything's of the Lord. Now, the Lord had that to transpire. Let me go to the book, right, of Ecclesiastes. Because this is what the Lord said. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, right, chapter 2, right, and verse number 26. For Yahweh giveth to a man that is good in his sight wisdom. So whoever has wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the Lord saw that man good in his sight. Now, when I came into the truth, I had locks, you understand? I didn't know what was going on, right? I was just smoking weed when I came into the truth, you understand? I was just doing X, Y, and Z, just like a lot of other saints, you understand? But the Lord has magnified my wisdom, right? And the little teeny wisdom I do have, the Lord has magnified that for me to be able to continue to bear witness, be stronger, go into prophecies, riddles, similitudes, and allegories, to be able to start teaching, to remember precepts. All of that literally happened right while I had locks. I'm a testimony of that. I cut them through my own personal reasons. I just didn't want them anymore. It wasn't that I was a damn Nazarite and Ariah's a clone and what happened. No, brother. Hey, like the Lord said in Ecclesiastes 3:1, it's a time and season for everything under the sun, right? And it was just that time. You understand? But the Lord said, for Yahweh giveth to a man that is good in his sight wisdom and knowledge and joy, but to the sinner he giveth travail and to gather and to heap up, that he might give to him that is good before Yahweh. This also is vanity and vexation of spirit. You understand? Right? So that's plain. So the Lord's going to increase into that man wisdom, right, that he finds. Let's go to the book, right, of 2 Samuel. Right, it's the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 14 and verse 25. But in all Israel, there was none to be so much praised as Absalom for his beauty, for the sole of his foot, even to the crown of his head. There was no blemish in him. Meaning on a physical level, this man was comely to the eyes. You understand? That's what the Lord said. And when he polled his head, poll means the cut. When you look up the word poll, when you cut his hair, for it was every year in that he polled it, because that hair was heavy on him. So how does hair be heavy on you? When it's locks, when it's braided, you understand? When it's in a something to where it's braided down and knotted up, it begins to be heavy. You understand? An afro out the hair wouldn't be heavy on your head. When your hair hangs down, it begins to be heavy. It says what? Because the hair was heavy on him. Therefore he polled it. He weighed the hair of his head at 200 shekels after the king's weight. You understand? So that's literally going into a man that was comely in beauty, right? That the Lord said, and literally he had long hair, which weighed a lot. And this man didn't, understand, in the eyes of the Lord was a transgression for him to be having long hair. Even Paul, when he wrote the Corinthians, let's go to it. Talking about it's a shame. Paul had long hair when he wrote that. A lot of men don't know that. Now, was that a contradiction? No, you understand? That was in the spirit, and you have to read it as it is written. It's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 14. Do not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him. That's talking about you changing up the course of nature. You understand? Now, if I had an earring and every other man had an earring in Israel, that would throw off the nature. But men can have earrings. That's Exodus chapter 32. You understand? On down. Right? Men had earrings in the ancient world. But you have to understand there's a just balance in the course of nature. If every man had long hair, that would throw off the course of nature. You understand? And if man, was damn two big pigtails, right, and you got a big old long ponytail and it's kind of flapping in the wind, and that's off, man. That's nature itself teaching you that. You understand? That doesn't mean that man can't have long hair. Because Paul had long hair. That's Acts 18 and 18. Let's go to it. This is Acts 18 and 18. And Paul, after this, tarried there yet a good while, and took his leave of the brethren, and sailed thence to Syria, and with him Priscilla and Aquila, having shorn means to shave, having shorn his head in Centuria, for he had a vow. So Paul had long hair, you understand, when he wrote that. So that doesn't mean Paul's a hypocrite. Paul didn't have that spirit of homosexuality that a lot of men have when they have long hair. And Paul had long hair according to the Bible. And he shaved it because he has a Nazarite vow. And he was on fire through the spirit. That's Numbers chapter 6 and 1 on down. So no, that's not going off. Right? Let's go to the next one. Lee Israel, can you break down Daniel 7 and 9? Let's go to it. Right? This is the book of Daniel. Chapter 7 and verse number 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down. Those thrones are different kingdoms. This is Daniel literally seeing a vision in the future, you understand, of every empire cast down. Now, during the time of Daniel was the Babylonian Empire / Persians and Medo Empire. Because when you read the book of Daniel, the 10th chapter, it kicks off into the Persian Medo Empire. Let's read that. It's the book of Daniel, chapter 10 and verse 1. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a thing was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was called Belshazzar, and the thing was true, but the time appointed was long, and he had understood that, Salakia, the thing that have understanding of the vision, you understand? So Daniel lived in the Babylonian Empire and the Persian-Medo Empire, you understand? So during the time of Daniel, he beheld, meaning he saw to the thrones. Thrones are kingdoms, you understand? That's literally what that's talking about. A throne is talking about a kingdom, right? Let's go to the book, right? There's so many precepts we could get on that, right? Yeah, there's so many precepts we can get. That started, let's go to the book of Revelation. So like it, bear with me. Chapter 16 and verse number, let's start at, Salakia, bear with me. Let's start at verse 13. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophets. For they are spirits of devil working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to battle of the great day of Yahweh Almighty. Talking about literally all hell breaking loose via these spirits running around the earth, you understand? Wreaking havoc on these kings on the left-hand side, right? Let's go to the book of Revelation chapter 17, right? Matter of fact, let me see if I want to get that first. Let me get another precept. Let's go to 13. This is the book of Revelation chapter 13, right? And verse number 11. And I beheld another beast come out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Talking about the American Empire, you understand? Because the first empire was talking about what? The Roman Empire. Reading on. And he accessed all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Meaning the Roman Empire. They literally got healed again, coming back as America. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven. You understand? Meaning his nuclear warfare, his missiles, right? His drones, all of those things, right, on the left-hand side. And that's literally talking about what? Right? All his miracles and his witchcraft, right? Let's go to the book of Revelation. Salakia, bear with me. This is the book, right, of 2 Corinthians. I'm going to go to 2 Corinthians 12 and 7. It's the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 7. And it reads, and lest I should be exalted above measure, through the abundance of revelations, there was given me a thorn in the flesh, a messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure, right? So literally, you don't want to be exalted above measure in this thing, right? Salakia, let me go back to that. So when Daniel, he beheld till the thrones were cast down. The thrones are the different nations and the kingdoms, right? Let's go back to that. So anything exalted, high, a throne, dominion, it's going to be cast down. Whether that's the Egyptian Empire, the Assyrian Empire, the Perso-Median Empire, the Babylonian Empire, the Roman Empire, right, the American Empire, right, or any empire in between that have had a short reign in this thing. EU, Russia, they're all going to be cast down, right? Let's go back to Daniel. It's the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. The Ancient of Days is the Most High God. He did sit because he's on the throne in the third heaven, right? He sits in his temple, whose garment was white as snow, right? Because the Lord has a physical body. And his hair of his head like the pure wool. And his throne was like the fiery flame, and his weight and his wheels as burning fire. You understand? So that's talking about the dominion in the third heaven. It says literally the hair of his head like the pure wool, because the Most High God has woolly hair. His throne, meaning his dominion where he sits, was like a fiery flame, because the Lord has 7 spirits which burn constantly. The Lord is a consuming fire. And and his wheels as burning fire. You understand? And that's all just talking about the 7 spirits of the Most High God, and they're forever burning. Right? That's Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 24. And that's the book of Revelations chapter 4. Let me get the precept. And verse, let's start at 6. Matter of fact, we could jump straight to, let's start at 4 and 5. And out of the throne proceeded lightning and thunder and voices. There were 7 lamps of burning, like a fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of Yahweh. So that's what that's going into. Right? Is Ancient of Days in Daniel 7 and 13 the Most High? Let's go to Daniel 7 and 13. It's the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 13. And I saw the night vision, And behold, one like the Son of Man. That's talking about Yahushua. Yahushua is the Son of Man. Came with the clouds of the chariots of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days. That's the Most High God. And they brought him, right, near before him. So the Ancient of Days is the Most High God. It's not talking about anybody else, you understand? So when you read Ancient of Days in the scriptures, it's talking about the Most High, right? This is the book of Job, chapter 36 and verse 26. Behold, Yahweh is great, and we know him not. Neither can the number of his years be searched out. So nobody can search out the Lord. He's the Ancient of Days, right? We going into the next question. ST Mark, with love, more revelation breakdowns. Lord willing, we're going to do one. You know what I'm saying? I just did a Revelation 16 breakdown. I'm going to upload that through the channel. I did that on IG. I'm going to put that on the channel, Lord willing, tomorrow. Right? Or the next day after that. Hebrew of Hebrews, can you break down Jude 1 and 6? Let's go to it. It's the book of Jude, chapter 1 and verse 6. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he have reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. Now those angels is talking about us, you understand? It's not talking about physical angels. They sinned, you know, Gabriel, Uriel, you know, Michael, Raphael. They was kind of, you know, shooting dice. That's not what that's talking about, man. You understand? It says, and the angels which kept not their first estate. And we're called angels in this context because we're from above. Just like literally the bread and the manna is called angel's bread in First Esdras. Why is it called angel's bread and it came down from the heaven? Because it came from the heavens. Meaning the elect man is from the heavens. You understand? The man of honor, understanding, the judges, the apostles, the disciples, they're godly. They're from above. You understand? Let's go to the book of Isaiah. Salakia, First Esdras, chapter 1 and verse 19. Second Esdras 1 and 19. This is Second Esdras, chapter 1 and verse 19, and it reads, Then had I pity upon your mourning, and gave you manna to eat, so ye did eat angel's bread. Now, why is the manna called angel's bread? It's called angel's bread because it came down from the heavens. That don't mean the angels kind of got a big old saw and they kind of passed the butter. It's not, the angels don't eat. It's from the heavens, right? We're from the heavens. We're literally the elect on a deeper level, you understand? And we didn't keep our first estate, meaning the law, statutes, and commandments, which is given unto us, but left their own habitation. Right now, habitation is this Bible and the commandments and the words of the Lord. He have reserved into everlasting chains, under darkness, unto the judgment of the great day. Meaning the Lord has marked certain men to literally be held unto judgment, to be destroyed, right? And that's that chains of darkness. Let's go to 2 Peter. You understand? Matter of fact, let's go to 1 Peter. This is 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 19. But which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison. So those ones that were chained up and reserved into everlasting darkness, hey, they were literally prisoners, you understand? Which sometimes were disobedient when one thing, so like the long suffering of Yahweh waited in the days of Noah while the ark was preparing, were when few, that is 8 souls, were saved by water. The like figure unto the baptism doeth also now save us, not the putting away of filthiness of the flesh, but the answering of a good conscience toward Yahweh by the resurrection of Yahushua, who is gone into heaven and is on the right hand of Yahweh. Angels and authorities and powers being made subject unto him. So when you read Psalms chapter 107 and verse 10, Psalms chapter 105 and verse 18, right, the book of Job chapter 36 and verse 7 on down, you understand the book of First Esdras chapter 1 and verse 40, right, the book of Jeremiah chapter 40 and verse 1, and various other precepts, the book of Esdras. So you can get an Esdras too, 1 and 55 on down, right, the book of Esther chapter 7 and verse 4. Those are the chains we were in. It's not talking about Michael and Uriel. They kind of bound up because the angels do whatever the hell the Lord wants them to do, man. And they rejoice at his commandment. Like you read about in the book of Sirach, the 39th chapter. You understand? Let's go to it. For sake of time, not to, go to too many precepts. I'll say them again because it's being recorded. The book of Sirach, chapter 39, right? In verse number 31. They shall rejoice in his commandment via the angels, and they shall be ready upon the earth when need is. And when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. So they don't have to be chained up, you understand? They're going to do whatever the Lord says because they're under his dominion. All right, we're going to go to the next question. Salaki, bear with me. A soldier of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai was the brother in Judges 11 a mamzer. Right, this word mamzer, it's an uproar when that word come out, right? But yes, the brother had an Israelite father and his mother was a stranger. That is written. Let's go to it. Judges 11. And it reads, now Jephthah, the Gileadite, was a mighty man of valor. And when you read this chapter, you understand, they literally was begging this man to go to war. They was like, please, please come to war with me. Please, please come to war. And he was like, damn, I thought you put me away. I thought you cast me out. I thought you told me to stop. But yet you beseeching me and begging me to go to war. You understand? We're not begging no damn heathen to go to war. Let's put that out on the table. You understand? And we going to war, we getting the mighty men. We going to get the men that could draw the swords, the men that are sharp in the scriptures, the men that are mighty, they're prophets, the men that know how to handle shield, buckler, armor. You understand? They have literally a breastplate of iron, the Uphaz. They have all of the understanding. You understand? On a spiritual and physical level, right? It says what? And he was the son of a harlot, and Gilead begat Jephthah, right? And when you read on down, like I said, these men were beseeching this man to go to war. So, yes, right? Let's go to it. Let's go to the next question. So not is not Lee Israel. I'm not sure. Bring out your question again, King. Brother, can you break down Luke 16 and 19? That's smart. Let's go to it. It's the book of Luke, chapter 16, and verse number 19. Right, and it reads, there was a rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. Right, I'm not going to bite my damn tongue, man. If somebody's going off with a breakdown, we're going to proclaim it and we're going to say it, you understand? It's a time and a place for everything, and now was the time. Right, this is not talking about a Levite. This is not talking about an Israelite. This is talking about Esau, the wicked, you understand? There was a certain rich man. Now, who's the rich of the earth? Go to James chapter 5 and verse 1. You understand? Go to James chapter 2 and verse 5. It's countless precepts that I could pull that show you that the rich man is not talking about us. We're not the rich man. We're poor. If I were to empty out my pockets right now, I would see a bunch of damn emojis. The laugh emoji, got the crying emoji, got the damn whining emoji. Oh, hell to break loose. We broke, you understand? We not rich. I don't have a yacht. I don't have a plane. I don't have Fortune 500 companies, you understand? I don't have the riches of this earth. I don't have cattle and land, right? I don't have skyscrapers and buildings. So this rich man is talking about Esau, but let's prove that. Let's go to it. Let's go to James chapter 5 and verse 1. James 5 and verse 1, and it reads, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl, for your misery shall come upon you. Does that mean just because you're rich, that means that you're going to be put to death and the Lord not dealing with you because you're rich? You understand? Lord willing, if a saint caught the lotto, right, and they got all that money, they would have 200 million, right? But what would they do? They would give it all out to the poor, you understand? But they would be rich at that moment. Does that mean the Lord hates them just because they have money in their bank? No, that's not what that's talking about. We're not rich, you understand? You have a few athletes that you could put on call on. You got Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, P. Diddy, right? You got the basketball players, the football players, the soccer players, right? You got a couple little athletes or magicians and little dance artists and right little rappers with their little chains on. That's not impressing the Lord. Or we could count our people out on a finger. This rich man is talking about Esau, right? While we're broke, trying to figure out what the hell we're going to do, he has generational wealth. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your misery that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupt, and your garments are moth and eaten. So all the riches of this earth that the so-called white man got is corrupted. He stole everything. He's the rich, you understand? Let's go to the book of Revelation 17 and verse number 4. Now it said that this rich man was clothed in purple. So when you read the book of Exodus, right, chapter 35 and 35 is going into literally the blue and the purple, right, from Bezalel, a man that's from the tribe of Judah, set up to literally construct the ark and other things, the table, the shewbread, and what was he talking about, which was a high esteemed color? Purple and blue. You understand? When Mordecai got set in charge in the book of Esther, right, chapter 8 and verse 15, he was arrayed in purple and blue. You understand? Babylon, and that's not a physical woman. You can't go, you're kind of looking for Babylon. What does she look like? No, it's talking about America, man. She's arrayed on a spiritual level in purple and blue. You understand? We're going to be arrayed in every single day blue. You understand? That's our garment. That's the ribbon of blue. So blue is a king in a high stature. You understand? So this rich man, he's clothed in purple, meaning he has the fire, the fairest and the finer things of life. This is Revelation chapter 17, verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Going back to Luke 16 and 19. There was a certain rich man, Esau, which was clothed in purple, meaning a king's color, which we're not clothed in. We're clothed in damn garments of damn dust and mourning and ashen. On a deeper level, the Lord said that his two witnesses will be clothed in ashes and sackcloth in the book of Revelations, the 11th chapter. Let's go to that. So how can we be clothed in the last days in purple, man? Doesn't make any damn sense. This is the book of Revelations 11 and 3. And I will give power unto my two witnesses, the northern kingdom and southern kingdom, right? And it kind of get deep. Also, I'm going to do a whole breakdown again because it got deleted off of the Cold Cuts channel, right? I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. So these men clothed in sackcloth, which is the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. So how are our clothing going to change from sackcloth into purple in the last days? That's not what that's talking about, right? Reading on. And fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. Who is faring sumptuously every day? Who have cigars? They kind of going on polo trip. They riding horses. They damn in a yacht. What is that talking about? That's talking about Esau, man. Right? That's what that's going into, Kim. Right? Let's go to the next question. Aaron Judah. Real quick, King. Revelations 11 and 19. The ark spoken of there is the same ark spoken in 2nd Maccabees. Or Jeremy. Let's go to it. Revelations 11 and 19. And it reads, and the temple of God was open. That temple was in the third heaven, you understand? Because just like we have on a physical level, the high priest, right? You have the outer court, the inner court, right? You would have the ark, you understand? You would have the table of showbread, then you would pass through the veil, then you would have the holies, then you would have the holy of holies where the mercy seat is. That's on a physical level with the temple, right? In the third heaven, the Lord sits in the temple. The Lord not sitting up there and he's just chilling and then all of the angels around about him. The Lord's in the temple in the third heaven. Said, and the temple of God was open in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament, and there were lightnings and voices and thunders and an earthquake and great hail. It's not talking about the physical ark of the testament, because that, like you just brought out, King, that's in Second Maccabees. You understand, right? The second chapter. And Jeremiah, he hid that in a cave so that nobody could find it until the time of Yahweh while Yahweh Shai returns. So that's not talking about and mysteriously left the earth and went to the third heaven. That Ark of the Testament is talking about Yahweh Shai. He's the Ark of the Testimony. He's the Ark of the Covenant, right? He is the law. You understand? That's what that's talking about. So on a physical level, the Lord, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, hey, they sit on the right hand of one another. You understand? Yahweh Shai is sitting on the right hand of the Most High God. Colossians 3:1. That's what that's talking about when you go into the temple and you see the Ark of the Testament. Let's go to the next question. Right? And it reads, Judah Mannion, I got a question. What's brother's take on letting your wife please you in any way she can if you got ears to hear? Brothers justify it by bringing up Hebrews 3 and verse 4. Right? If you damn grabbing chickens and damn, bringing a raccoon in the bed, well, brother, we're going to have to rebuke you, man. Right? But whatever a man and a woman does that are married in righteousness, there's nothing wrong with that. I hear a lot of doctrines that say you can't do X, Y, and Z. Right? And we know what X, Y, and Z is, man. Right? Because a woman, we don't want to get too in depth. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep it in the spirit. But I understand what you're saying, King. Right? But on a deeper level, there's no law that you're transgressing. If your woman wants to please you, there's nothing wrong with that. You understand? No matter how in depth that may get. But if you dragging animals in a room, you want somebody to record it, and he's sitting there like this, he kind of under the bed, he kind of watching with a camera. Well, brother, we're going to have to rebuke you, man. You understand? That is what I can call precepts on. Whatever a righteous man and a righteous woman do, right, to please one another, there's nothing wrong with that. Right? So, we don't want to hearken into Pharisees in the last days on the left-hand side. Ronte, what is folly during the fast? Folly during the fast is watching TV, cracking jokes, playing video games, on the phone all night. You understand? Buying and selling, having sex during the fast. These are things that are wrought folly during your fast. As somebody asked me not too long ago, why do I feel like the Lord is not hearing me when I'm fasting? Well, I told him plain upon tables, well, brother, sister, maybe you're not executing your fast how you're supposed to be through the Spirit. Maybe you're not giving your all to the Lord. Put ashes upon your head. You understand? Right? Cry, pray, do everything you can. Read as many chapters as you can. So you don't want to rock folly during a fast. That would be wicked, and that would literally cast down the whole point of fasting. It will all be in vain. Let's go to the next question. Keelan Johnson, right? Can you briefly go over multiple wives, right? What specifically do you want me to go over, King? Right? You would have to ask a more in-depth question, right? You can have multiple wives, but brothers shouldn't be the brother's main focus or goal in these last days. On a deeper level, not to be carnal, but women are going to chase men. It's just going to happen. You understand? It's going to happen. That don't mean, who do he think he is? I'm not chasing up. Well, then you're going to go against what the Lord said, man. The Lord said women are going to cleave to men in the last days. This is not the world. It's just not how am I gonna get her. You put your fitted cap on, put your do-rag on, you ride all your chains, right? You put your damn oil on and you try to talk to her. That's not what that's talking about, man. You understand? Women are gonna see a man glowing with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that could go into prophecy, lead them, and they're gonna want to be under his house, right? But it's not expedient to be having 19 wives and three, four. It's not expedient. You have to take care of them. You have to teach them. You have to feed them. You have to clothe them, right? It's not just sex rink. I always tell brothers, this is very deeper than brothers imagine, right? You come home, you got to talk to one woman about her day. How much more two? How much more four? Right? It's really not expedient, especially if a man is extremely busy and he doesn't have the means nor the money. So that would be something that you have to, you know, weigh out through the spirit. But you have to ask a specific question for me able to go to it. You know, I can't touch on multiple wives with no understanding of what you know about it. Yes, you can have multiple wives. Lee Israel, what's the precept to prove the Lord has a temple in the third heaven? Right, you can go to the book of Revelations 14 and 15. Let's go to it. It's the book of Revelations 14 and 15. And another angel came out of the temple. Now this temple is in the third heaven and is via Yahweh Yahweh Shah, crowned with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, threshing thy sickle and reap, right? For the time is come to thee, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. You understand? Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 15, and verse number 5. And after I looked and beheld, the temple of the tabernacle of testimony in heaven was open. That's that same temple. You understand? Let's go to the book of Revelations, chapter 11, and verse 19. And the temple of God was open in the heaven, right? In heaven. And there was seen in his temple the ark of the testimony, and there were lightning and voices and thunders, and an earthquake and great hail. So those are precepts that you could pull, right, to show you that there's a temple in the third heaven. And also Hebrews 8 and 5. Right? Let's go to the next question. Right? Lion of Judah, are there still 613 laws that we follow, being that we don't do burnt offerings? Right? So it's a lot of laws that we can't keep, right, in the Torah, right? So, you know, I didn't calculate each number to have a specific number to present before you, but we keep as many laws as possible, man. You understand? Now, on a physical level, we can't keep the Pentecost on a physical level because we're not in our own land, nor do we have fruit, nor do we have a Levitical priesthood set up. But on a spiritual level, we can because we are the fruit. Yahweh Shah is our priest, and we present ourselves before the Lord. You understand? And we make sure that we're on fire, and when we present ourselves, the Lord will wave the sheaf on a spiritual level and accept us. So don't make excuses for not keeping the law because everything is spiritual. You understand? So, you know, unless you have a more specific question, right, we keep as many laws as possible. As many laws as possible. Only thing is done away with is literally the Levitical priesthood with literally the animal sacrifice. Everything else we must try as much as we can to keep. Now, our brothers going to Jerusalem 3 times a year? No. But we doing as much as we can in these mortal bodies with the affliction and captivity that we live in, right, to present ourselves before the Lord is acceptable. Will you break down Revelations 1 and Job chapter 1? Baba Gashad. That sounds like a lot, right? It's a rapid fire, right? So to break down all of Revelations 1, you know, that would take time. If you got a Pacific precept, we can go to it. Pacific precept in Job, that's a lot to break down in the book of Job. Because Job, my favorite book in the scriptures, to get deep, right? So we're going to skip that one unless you have a specific question, because that would be an in-depth breakdown in itself, and it wouldn't be fair to the rest of the saints on the live. But both of those books are fire, right? Shaziyah, Judah, backs idol of the Most High. Shalom up 2 times. Up, can you go into head covering for men, the water. Head covering for men. Not understanding what you mean specifically as far as a head covering for men. Are you talking about, can men wear mitres? Are they supposed to wear mitres? Are men not to cover their heads when they teach? Like, brothers got to be a little bit more specific with the precept, because I'll go into about 2, 3, 4 precepts, and it may not be something that you are even asking. So I'm not sure what you mean going to head coverings for men. If you're talking about mitres, we can go to that, right? But if not, Salakia, just make your question a little bit more clear. Let's go to the book of Zechariah. It's the book of Zechariah, chapter 3, and verse number 3. Now Joshua was clothed with filthy garments, and stood before the angel. And he answered and spake unto those that stood before him, saying, Take away the filthy garments from among him. And unto him he said, Behold, I have caused iniquity to pass from thee, and I will clothe thee with change of raiment. And I said, Let them set a fair mitre upon his head, so that they set a fair mitre upon his head, and clothed him with garments, as the angel of the Lord stood by. So men of the Lord are to wear garments, are to wear mitres, you understand? Because that's what our forefathers did. Let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 39, and verse, Salakia, bear with me. This whole thing kind of crazy, right? I mean, you can't go wrong wherever I start at. I just want to get straight to the point, right? Let's start at verse 31. And they tied into it a lace of blue, because blue is a royal color, and fastened it on a high upon the mitre, as the Lord commanded Moses. So that's even in the law, you understand? So you can wear mitres. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the head tire or the covering, understand, of a man of the Lord, if that's what you were asking. If not, you got to kind of rephrase your question so we can jump into this thing. David Watkins, can you explain Amos 5 and 26 and 27? Let's go to it. And it reads, But ye have borne the tabernacle of your Molech, right? And Sheshum, your images, the star of your God, which ye made to yourself. Meaning the children of Israel, they was going to hell off. They were making stars, idols, imagery, idolatry, witchcraft. They was going to hell off, worshiping the spiritual demon Satan. You understand? Because Molech is the spiritual demon Satan. He's an idol that the children of Israel passed through the fire, right, during the time of Exodus. And throughout the Bible, you understand? Even in the time of Kings. Let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 32, right? And that started, this whole thing is crazy. 4. And he received them at their hand and fashioned it with a gravening tool. And after he had made it molten calf. Now, what is a molten calf? Is little kids gonna ride it? Mommy, let me. That's not what that's talking about, man. We don't give a damn about that calf, right? That's wicked. That's idolatry. That's imagery. That's witchcraft. So the children of Israel, they made a calf, and they said, These be the gods, O Israel, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. You understand? And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it, and Aaron made a proclamation and said, Tomorrow it is a feast to the Lord, right? So they were giving all type of burnt offerings. They were going the hell off, you understand? To Molech, the spiritual demon Satan, which is the bull, right, with the horns. That's what that's going into. And the Lord is not dealing with that, right? The Lord hates that. So that's what that's going into, right? Imagery and witchcraft. Let's go to it. Let's go to the next one. David Watkins, can you break Salaki, can you explain Ezekiel 47 and 21? Let's go to it. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 47, verse 21. So shall ye divide this land unto you according to the tribes of Israel. Divide the land, meaning in the kingdom. In the kingdom, you're not going to be fighting over the land and everybody's kind of, I was here first. That's not going to happen, you understand? So in the kingdom, everything's going to be dealt with in order. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you, right? And to the strangers that sojourn among you. Meaning we're going to divide some of our land into the strangers, which are the heathens, but that don't mean that they're going to literally have their own land in the kingdom. Just like you may have a house and then you have a backyard. And then your dog has a backyard. Then you kind of go check on your dog. You throw the bone back there. Your dog kind of looking to come in the house, but he never does. That's how it's going to be for the heathen. You may have a set appointed land, and in your land, you're going to have land for your heathens to be, because that's your portion, because it all belongs to you. Like if you were set up over all of Arkansas, literally your heathens, your slaves will have to be in Arkansas. And they're not going to sleep in your damn house. You're not going to be like, hey. You're not going to go like that, and then the slave kind of wake up out of sleep, and they kind of come upstairs. Ain't no damn slaves going to be in the house, man. They're going to have an apportioned point of land, because that whole dominion of land will have to be yours. You understand? It said, and it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you, right? And to the strangers that sojourn among you, which shall begot children among you. And they shall be unto you as born, Slakia, as born in the country among the children of Israel. They shall have an inheritance with you among the tribe of Israel. It said they shouldn't have an inheritance. That don't mean that they get the law, the statutes, they kind of get the commandments, they get the covenant, they can pass through the... That's not what that's talking about. It's saying they can have an inheritance, and our inheritance is what? The land, you understand? I mean, they can have a small portion being under us and be ruling over them. That's what that's going into. Let's go to the next one. I die before you win. Shalom, my brother. Can I get some verse to read and break down on Shalakia? Why we need to put the blunts down? I want to start attacking this addiction in our community, because I know a lot of brothers struggle with it, right? It is very thoughtful through the spirit, right? You can go to the book of Genesis 1 and 29, you understand? Because the Lord gave herb, right, for literally the service of man to eat, not to get high with, right? You can go to the book of Psalms, chapter 104, chapter 14, right? You can go to the book of Song of Solomon, chapter 16, and verse 12, right? You can go to 2 Chronicles, chapter 16, right? I believe that's verse 12 on down, talking about Asa and his infirmity. Or you can go to a lot of precepts dealing with the herb, right? Dealing with the service, dealing with the seed, and all of these things are literally to heal you, but it's not to get high with. The Lord never said to get high. The Lord gave you something to relax yourself. That's the yan, man. Hey, brothers love the yan, man, right? Drunk immeasurably in order, you understand? In due season. That don't mean you sitting out there with a bottle and you kind of got the bag, kind of looking around, seeing what the move is. That's a nigga, man. You understand? So those are some precepts that you can use. And you can, jump into a breakdown about that, right? Go into how the Lord gave you yan, how the Lord gave you healing agents, how the Lord gave you things for you to heal yourself. You understand? Let's go to the book of Sirach. Let me pull one precept. I gave you precepts, but let me pull one. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 38, verse 1. Honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the use which ye may have of him. For the Lord hath created him. For the Most High, right, cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king. So if the Most High cometh healing, not the weed, right, not the K2, right, or the Most High cometh there. You understand? Let's go to the next one. Elijah 3K. The 144,000 are angels made into spirits? No, right? Angels are different from men. They're very much different. You understand? Angels can't go off. Men can go off. Right? Angels are literally the Lord's spirits in the third heaven, which do and manipulate the earth as he will. Man doesn't know his right hand from his left hand. That's in the book of Jonah. They can't even discern from their right hand and their left hand. They don't know what the hell is going on. They don't even know their name. No one on this live knows their name. What do you mean he doesn't know his name? My name's Eric. That's not what I'm talking about. The Lord said in that day when you have obtained, he will give you a new name, which nobody knoweth except for him that receiveth it. Meaning, my name in the ancient world, it could be something different than Ariah. Now, with my own mortal understanding, I call myself Ariah through the spirit, but who the hell am I to name myself? Adam named everything, you understand? And Adam was Yahweh. So even from old, everything has already been named. That's in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 6 and verse 10. Let's go to it. So who are we to proclaim or know anything? But the angels, right, they know their names. And the Lord has calleth them all out by name. Right? I'm going to get that precept next. Right? Salaki, what was I just said I was about to get? Okay, Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 6 and 10. And it reads, that which have been named already, and it is known that it is man. So you've been named already. You can't say, you know what, my name is Judah Mannion, it's Aaron Judah, it's Rick James, it's Kalen Johnson, right? It's Jazel, house of Chazakia Ben Judah, right? You can't say it's King Corn, S Smart. You can't say that. You've already been named. So the Lord named your spirits all the way from old, and we don't even know our own names. We don't know anything. All we know is the little teeny bit of knowledge that the Lord has given man, you understand? But the angels, they know. But even on a deeper level, the angels don't even know that much. The angels want to know what the elect men know. And this is turning into a breakdown. You read about that in Peter, and you read about that in 2nd Esdras. Let me go to that. So the angels don't even know that much. And we know less than them. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, you understand, right? Chapter 4 and 51. I'll start at 51. So book of 2nd Esdras 4 and 51. Then I prayed and said, may I live? Thinkest thou? So Esdras talking to this angel. He see all hell breaking loose, and he see talking to this angel. He say, "What you think I'm gonna live? I need to know. I want to know what's going on." Then I prayed and said, may I live? Thinkest thou until that time? Or what shall happen in those days? He answered me and said, as for the tokens whereof thou hast asked me, I may tell thee in part. And I could tell you a little bit. This angel Uriel, he doesn't know everything. And he's an archangel. You understand? He's not a normal angel. He's not an angel just sent for you to have wet dreams in your sleep. You're not just a normal angel, right, that you getting somebody robbed in the alley. This is Uriel, right? Verse 36 explains, you understand? It says what? He answered me and said, as for the tokens whereof thou askest me, I may tell thee of them in part. I mean, I could tell you a little bit of the breakdown, but as for touching thy life, I am not sent to shew thee, for I do not know it. So the angels don't even know that much, man. You understand? So you can't be in this thing thinking of yourself high if Esdras the elect was getting his breakdown from the angel, and the angel don't even know that much. You understand? So, yeah, it's a difference between the elect, you understand, and the angels and their offices and everything. It kind of get deep. Salaki, I'm scrolling up. Uriah Fortson, can you explain 1 John 4 and 7? My grandma confounded me. I didn't know what to say. Well, let's go to it. Right? You're not going to have your grandma confounding you. While the damn tea is burning on the stove, the macaroni and cheese in the oven. She got that big, long garment on, right? She got that big wooden spoon, and she's spanking it on her hand, saying, where's your God now? That's not going to happen any longer. Right? Lord willing, we're going to go to 1 John 4 and 7. Salaki, bear with me. Sword kind of coming up. Gotta put this thing back in play. Salaki, bear with me. Put this thing back into play. First John. Gotta give me a new sword. Salaki, bear with me. First John. Okay, Con, we good. Con, yeah, Con, I'm good. Con. It's the book of 1 John. What was that? What did you ask? Salaki. What was that precept again? Bear with me. 4 and 7. This is 1 John chapter 4 and verse 7, and it reads, Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of Yahweh, and every one that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. Right? So that's plain upon tables. It says beloved, talking about Israel, because we're the beloved. You understand? Whether has thou beloved God? You understand? The beloved is Yahweh by Yahweh Shai and us. We the beloved betrothed woman, and Yahweh Shai is the beloved, right? Because he's literally our husband. Beloved, let us love one another. So what is love? The keeping of the commandments. We have to love one another. But it says what? Love one another. Who is this written to? Right? Let's go to John 1 and 1. That which was from the beginning, meaning all the way from the beginning. All the way from the beginning. Nobody right now can proclaim what happened from the beginning. You can't say, well, you know, I say Adam, he kind of was naming one by one, all of the, you know, the beast, and I seen him, he had a throne, he had his hand on his thigh, and he seemed like he was an off-steer man. You can't say that. It say, that which was from the beginning, which we have heard. Now, the Lord says certain men have heard things from the beginning. Meaning on the spiritual level, everybody on here has heard from the very beginning, which we have seen with our eyes, which we have looked upon, and our hands have handled the word of life. So from the very beginning, our hands and everybody on this live has handled the word of life.